I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. What's going on, slave tards? Today, we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects and one of your least favorite subjects, and that is how stupid space exploration is. And, space buffoons, right? We're going to talk about idiotic stuff that we spend billions, if not hundreds of billions of dollars on, right? Trump came out not too long ago and wanted to slash the budget of NASA 20%. And then, all these like space buffoons got all butthurt about it and lobbied Congress, and they restored, NASA's funding. And now apparently we're going to go back to the moon on Artemis 2, even though we were supposed to probably do it in February. It looks like they rolled the new SLS rocket out in the cold, and they had a hydrogen leak, which that sounds very familiar to the Space Shuttle Challenger that blew up or whatever, right? That's exactly what happened too, is the cold weather is what caused that. And the seals, weren't meant to be below freezing or whatever, right? So here they go again. They haven't really learned. So they roll the thing out there in cold weather, and have problems. At least they caught it before blowing up all the astronauts again. But apparently we're going to go back to the moon on Artemis 2. We're not going to be landing, but I guess we're going farther out in deep space than we ever have before. And as, Neil deGrasse Tyson will tell you right here,
you realize we have not left low Earth orbit since 1972, 52 years ago. And you're asking me in 50 years whether we're going to have colonies on Mars?
We haven't been, out of low Earth orbit since the Apollo missions. So here we go, right? We're actually going to do something in space. But my question is, why? For 50-something years, when you ask the question, why are we going back and forth to the International Space Station, which is not in space, it's in the thermosphere, it's in Earth's atmosphere, protected by Earth's magnetic field. Therefore, any test or any experiments done there aren't valid in deep space because, you're in the atmosphere of Earth, right? When you ask the question, why haven't we gone back to the moon? Why, everybody's like, well, we already did it. There's no reason to, right? But apparently there's reason to now, 50 years later, right? For 50 years, we did nothing in space whatsoever, but now all of a sudden, we're going to do something in space. And my question is why, right? If your response for 50 years was, it's too expensive, we've already done it, there's nothing on the moon, there's no reason for us to go back, okay, I buy it, right? Why are we doing it now? Why are we spending billions upon billions of dollars on NASA to do what we did 50 years ago when it was deemed not worthy of any kind of exploration for 50 years, right? And then on top of that, you've heard over the years, here's a little clip of Stephen Petronek talking about how we were going to colonize or put boots on the ground on Mars by 2027. Elon Musk saying 2025. This was 9 years ago, right? Check it out.
How soon will the first humans actually land here? Now, some pundits think if we got there by 2050, that'd be a pretty good achievement. These days, NASA seems to be saying that it can get humans to Mars by 2040. Maybe they can. I believe that they can get human beings into Mars orbit by 2035. But frankly, I don't think they're going to bother in 2035 to send a rocket to Mars because we will already be there. We're going to land in Mars in 2027. And the reason is this man is determined to make that happen. His name is Elon Musk. He's the CEO of Tesla Motors and SpaceX. Now, he actually told me that we would land on Mars by 2025, but Elon Musk is more optimistic than I am, and that's going a ways, so I'm giving him a couple of years of slack. Children who are now in elementary school are going to choose to live there.
Right. So we're not going to Mars, right? We're not going to Mars for a lot of reasons. If you don't know the reasons, it's not inhabitable. It's not a plan B, and it's not a plan B for these reasons.
Mars's atmosphere is 95% carbon dioxide. Oxygen, only 0.13%. Surface pressure, less than 1% of Earth's. Step outside without a suit and your blood boils before you suffocate. Average temperature is minus 63 degrees Celsius. Nights can drop to minus 125 degrees Celsius at the poles. Mars has no global magnetic field. Radiation from the sun and deep space hits the surface unfiltered. Just 1 year there could expose you to more radiation than a nuclear power worker sees in a lifetime. And the dust? It's toxic. It contains perchlorates, chemicals that disrupt thyroid function and damage lungs. It clings to everything: your gear, your filters, even your skin. So let's say we survive the journey, and we build a shelter. How do we stay alive? On Earth, essential resources like air, water, and food exist naturally. But on Mars has water ice, but it's buried underground or at the poles. To access it, you need machines to mine it, melt it, and purify it. Mars dust isn't soil. It has no nutrients. It's filled with perchlorates. Growing food means building sealed greenhouses, hydroponic systems with imported microbes. Solar power is weaker. Mars receives 43% less sunlight than Earth. Dust storms can last weeks, blocking the sun entirely. Nuclear power is a strong candidate, but reactors are heavy, risky, and politically complicated. Can't we just terraform Mars? Warm it up? Create air? Bring back oceans? But here's the science. Even if we released all the CO2 on Mars, it still wouldn't be enough to warm the planet significantly. Even if we built an atmosphere, Mars has no magnetic field to hold it in. Solar wind would strip it away again, just like it did billions of years ago. Terraforming Mars isn't a plan, it's a dream. Even if we solve every engineering problem, we're still left with the biggest limitation of all. We are biological machines evolved for one world. 1G gravity, 21% oxygen, a 24-hour light cycle, an ecosystem we evolved with for millions of years. Even if we build the perfect habitat on Mars, we still need bone regeneration in low gravity, artificial wombs for childbirth in partial gravity, genetic engineering to adapt our bodies to radiation and CO2. Then there's the mind. Isolation, confined spaces, no sunlight, no fresh air, no way home. Even the toughest astronauts have limits. What kind of humans will Mars require? And those born on Mars, with weaker bones, different circadian rhythms, different skies, will they even belong to Earth anymore?
So it's impossible for us to ever live on it. It's impossible for us to ever terraform it. And my question is, even if we could terraform it, even if Mars did have a magnetic field to, protect the terraformed atmosphere from, solar radiation and solar winds and those kind of things. Even if we could, would we want to spend billions upon trillions of dollars in order to go and try to make another planet that's 250 million miles away habitable for humans? I mean, if the argument is we have to find a plan B for the Earth because we have trashed the Earth, what's going to stop us from trashing Mars, right? Like, I think Neil deGrasse Tyson in this little interview made an excellent point.
For him to just say, let's go to Mars because it's the next thing to do, what does that venture capitalist meeting look like? So, Elon, what do you want to do? I want to go to Mars. How much will it cost? $1 trillion. Is it safe? No, people will probably die. What's the return on the investment? Nothing. That's a 5-minute meeting, and it doesn't happen.
So we agree. I'm not for going to Mars.
Okay, wait. I got nothing against Mars. Elon wants to terraform Mars, and if you do that, you could then just walk off a spaceship and breathe the air. But if that's Earth Plan B, what did you do to Earth that now you got to go to Mars? If you messed up Earth, but you're good enough to turn Mars into Earth, then you can turn Earth back into Earth and never have to go where
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Right? Like, why can't we spend the time, effort, technology, use our, smartest of the smart physicists and scientists to clean up the Earth and fix the Earth's atmosphere and clean up the oceans and regrow the forests, right? And regrow the rainforest and, fix Earth, right? Why are we spending billions upon potential trillions upon trillions of dollars when we know there is nothing for us out there? Like, we already know we can't live anywhere, right? If you argue, well, we need the moon for defense, okay, maybe, but we don't need people up there, right? I mean, there's nothing on Earth, outside of Earth, for us, for humanity, yet we still spend billions upon billions, and if we go to Mars, it'll be multiple trillions of dollars on uselessness, on complete science fiction, on nothing that, will help humans or human race, right? We could use that money. We could rebuild, America's infrastructure, right? We could shut down not NASA, and we could take that money and we could build roads and bridges. We could take that money and we could, sink it into aircraft carriers or whatever, defense, right? Something that will help America. What I really don't understand is anytime they talk about cutting funding for space exploration, you get the scientific community, and the planetary, whatever, lobbyists, Bill Nye, the science guy, and everybody out there, up in arms because we can't cut, budget for space exploration. Oh, no. But I'm like, what has it really done for us? What is the billions upon hundreds of billions upon, inflation adjusted trillions ever freaking got us, right? Tang. What has it got us? What has it done for us? Right. I watched a video the other day of some of the science that went into these 40 nanometer chip fabs. It was on ASML and their whole new chip fab. And it was just extraordinary. It was mind blowing, the technology, and the physics and the elements and stuff used in that. Right. But those things, that science and that research and the money that went into that has a reason, right? There's an objective, but there's no objective in space. It's just, let's see if we can do this, even though, there's no reason to do this. And, we're wasting tons of resources and tons of money and risking people's lives on something that for 50 years was told that, there's nothing there. There's no reason to do this, right? And you hear these idiots like Elon Musk talking about we're going to be in Mars, yet we're never going to be in Mars. It's never going to happen, right? We've even see some of these guys giving up on it. If you can find it, Neil deGrasse Tyson, has a video out there on why it's impossible and like we'll never ever ever put boots on the ground in Mars. And I agree with him, right? It's ridiculous, and I don't understand. I really don't understand why we continue wasting money and the buffoonery of ridiculousness that is space exploration. Peace.